Welcome back as the console relegations for the European side of things rolls on. I'm Aggro, joined by Taco. And Taco, I mean, today has been it's been a lot of Artemis. I mean, Artemis, the new top ban in the European SCL, right?
Artemis OP, apparently. But console has been loving her. I think it's realistically, she is very easy to maneuver around with, despite not having too much of an escape opportunity. And crit and Devos. All day long.
Pretty solid right now. Let's take a look at the standings. If you're just joining us, we're through 2 games here. It's been Kaz and Era Eternity. Now next up it's gonna be Era Eternity up against Ezzun-Chan. These are the 2 teams that were in the SCL last time around, so it's gonna be, these are usually the matchups that are incredibly important. Plus the magic number is always 2. If you win 2 times, you're probably in. If you lose 2 times, you're probably out. You're not eliminated because it's some tiebreaker things, but overall, if Era can win this game, they're in a phenomenal spot to reclaim their SCL spot.
And that's certainly what Era Eternity really have their eyes set on already. Kind of anticipating a little bit of the same stuff from Ezzune-Chan. I want to see a little bit less of that healer composition coming through. I don't think that they're going to have that same sort of opportunity against Era Eternity.
I mean, it looked like it was going to go well for them, and then it ended up not up against Kaz. Let's go to picks and bans and find out if this is their opportunity to take down Era Eternity. Chan is going to be in that first pick selection, just like they were up against Kaz in an early Chronos ban. Era's Lyzurrr, that hunter, really showed up last time, and just focusing him out with those strong picks right now, like Chronos and Scotty here from Era, not a bad look for Chan.
Just smart gods to not really have to deal with all around. You don't want to deal with Scotty's permafrost or her dog. Her dog is not a lot of fun.
I really don't.
And the same could be said for Chronos having 2 lives pretty much and a ton of late game potential. A lot of these games tend to be leaning towards that late game aspect, so you remove the hunters that are going to be optimal in those circumstances.
Well, Odin banned here by Chan, Freya the other banned by Era, and this is exactly what Chan did, and they picked Hell in that first pick against Kaz. This time, it's going to be the Ravana. That was left open by them, and they had to deal with it in that game against Kaz, deciding that they'd rather have that jungler, probably, in the Warrior, though can go in the solo lane, though we haven't seen him there in quite some time. Sun Wukong, the pick here for Era Eternity.
Just too easy to prioritize Ravana for that jungle role aspect, and having the flex pick possibility is always nice as well. And running it back with a Terra for Era Eternity, I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with these 2 selections. Sun Wukong and Terra, so much early game pressure already.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've got no problem with what Era's got going so far. Geb, again, another Guardian that's been heavily prioritized so far here today. And there's the Chang'e. So even if Eribiiax isn't going for his Hell, it is going to be a healer either way with the Chang'e.
I'm curious about the Chang'e, though. This is a god that has really fallen out of the meta, or I guess what's been the accepted meta. And I mean, there's just so many different opportunities that players have had to look for this Chang'e. I find it interesting that it's the console side that's really looking to take a chance on her.
They've always loved her, man. The console mid laners have always seemed to love Chang'e for whatever reason. So again, it's a comfort pick, and comfort picks usually end up working better than the meta if you're not super familiar with it. So I've got no problem with it. We'll see how it ends up working out. A couple hunter bans here by Era, Medusa and Kernanos. And then for Chan, it's 2 mid laners, Thoth and the Hell. Interesting that Era is banning away 2 hunters while still not having their own hunter. That's usually what you see, but they do have the first pick coming out of the ban phase. It's going to be Ram for Lyzurrr.
And they were able to find exactly what they were looking for. I love the Ram selection. Having it paired alongside of the Terra just means that you're going to have so much push potential in your duo lane. And get paired with any hunter, it doesn't really matter. Not many hunters have the clear necessary. Ram's actually one of them that you would want to try and push out that lane, and it is going to be the Soul actually picked up for the ADC role.
Yeah, Chan going with the Soul again in that duo lane. Chaac, the selection in the solo lane. Vulcan, the pick here for Era Eternity in the mid lane. So Era's got a very well-balanced composition in my mind. Erlang, Shen, Jungle, and Sun Wukong in the early game, they're going to control the right side of the map. Then in the late game, you've got the Vulcan and the Ram, 2 great picks to carry it if it should go late. Chan has the same sort of thing, though. Ravana, Chaac, excellent in the early game, both of those characters. And then both Soul and Chang'e can be difficult come late game. So 2 fairly similar compositions here. I mean, you've got a warrior jungle on both sides. You've got some late game hyper carries in the dual lane. Just a matter of who's going to execute it better?
I'd probably favor Era Eternity's draft all around. I do feel as though their draft's a little bit easier to execute, on top of the fact that a lot more damage potential all at once between the Vulcan and the Ram in comparison to that Sol Chang'e, who are going to take a little bit more time to pop off their abilities. But Chan is not really down and out by any means. I mean, there is still so many different opportunities for them to counter-engage off of the Geb.
No doubt. And Geb and Chang'e both great at counter-engaging. If you can find a team grouped up as they're trying to chase you down, that Waxing Moon ends up being huge for you and your squad. So watch out for Eribiiax holding on to that ultimate and trying to be patient with it. This is the matchup that I'm interested in because Sun Wukong has been dominant in the solo lane for a little bit of time now. Chaac is one of those characters that just kind of does his own thing, doesn't really worry about what his lane opponent is doing, but the question is, can he handle what Sun Wukong's going to be putting out?
Chaac is just there to clear. He is there to try and establish the lane pressure. However, it's actually going to be the Chaac getting pressured against. And now Ezzun-Chan making the rotation, trying to help secure their own speed buff. But everybody else from Era Eternity is trying to join the party now too.
Eribiiax is toast here, but Shell comes through. Might be enough. Another Shell comes out, and Eribiiax is going to live node. Sirduckbot claims it. The first blood goes to Era Eternity with the backfire out of the mid laner. Overpowered USB on the run now. Nice backfire. A Shell coming out for Era this time around, and a 3-man knockup into a 2-man stun. All of a sudden, it's Chan on the run.
And it's going to be Rogue potentially looking for that pickup, not able to find it. However, Era Eternity claiming the Fire Elementals instead. That means that Plasma is going to be able to lock down his speed buff.
3 shells, but only 1 kill. The horrific emblem ends up coming up almost pretty big for Era Eternity, but Mango Man's got to be trouble here. Pin off the mark, knock up, trying to chase him down. The turtle stun will get it. There it is. Second kill goes to Era Eternity. Overpowered USB with the kill there, and that's exactly what you cannot allow to happen as Chaac, because Chaac is okay from even. He is useless from behind.
Chaac is, like I was trying to say before that fight broke out, he's meant to just win the laning phase. That's really why he isn't heavily prioritized in the SPL or SCL even. Really, it's just, sure, you get the clear, but other than that, you're just a silence bot. That is essentially your role later on. And for what Ezzun-Chan's draft is, perhaps that silence could be ultimately useful, even that little bit of a knock-up that you're also permitted during that ultimate. But for the most part, you just want to go toe-to-toe with the Sun Wukong, but when you're already down 2 levels because you ended up dying to a gank, I mean, granted it was a gank, but it still happened, and it's still a kill for Overpowered, as well as just him not being able to have as much pressure as you would want.
That's it's a tough start for Chan, no doubt, in this game. Not only do they lose their Chang'e for the first blood, but then again the Chaac in the duo lane, Era Eternity in the driver's seat. Only up about 1,000 gold, but the XP difference certainly in their favor thus far. Woolvie in the first game up against Kaz just wasn't able to match the output of a Toadman. He did a lot of damage on the soul, but not a lot of important damage, I would say. He went for a Warlock Sash. In this sort of matchup, do you think that Warlock Sash is the right call for a soul, or would you like to see him try and get a little bit more pressure early?
Warlock's Sash has been an item that is great on the magical ADCs if you get a massive lead.
Mango Man, he's only level 3. The Geb shield wasn't going to do enough. Another shell comes through. Plenty of shields for the solo laner, but they still won't save his life. USB claims him again. Now Eribiiax has got to be in trouble. There's the 2 to try and give him that immunity, but USB is here, Sirduckbot is here, and more importantly, Rogue T is here with the kill. An early 4. Now Ezzuna, the conveyor belt for Chan. Just one by one they go in, and one by one they fall. An early 5-kill lead for Era Eternity.
Nothing better than a Geb using his escape to roll into your entire team.
When everyone else is dead and he doesn't have an ultimate.
Sometimes you just gotta go in. I like the mindset there. He was potentially trying to save his Chang'e, but in that circumstance, I think you just gotta let your mid laner go.
Yeah, at some point, you just gotta kind of accept your losses, and it certainly wasn't the case there for Ezzuna, and he fell because of it. Mango Man's still sitting at level 3. Plasma is here to try and secure his own speed buff, and that'll take Mango Man level 4, but still 2 levels down to Rogue T and was forced into a Swift Wing buy just to get back to lane in time to farm up with some necessary farm that he really needs. That puts him even farther behind in his build.
I'd be rejoicing if I was Plasma, though. The fact that he was able to get his speed buff yet again is just partially lucky, partially because Air Eternity just decided they wanted to back and spend the gold that they'd been acquiring over all this time.
Yeah, no one had backed yet on the side of Air Eternity, so both Rogue T and USB are able to pick up their full boots. Usually you'll see junglers and even solo laners at times back for boots too because they want to be there for the next respawn of the buffs, but by the time that respawn was coming through, both the jungler and the solo laner had full boots done, so no real reason to wait.
Going back to what we were saying about the Warlock Sash second item on mages, and typically that's an item that you see predominantly on Chronos just because you're usually against a physical hunter, and it's such a great item against those physical carries. However, Soul doesn't have as much survivability as a Chronos. Chronos is so safe to play in that duo lane. He's got his rewind to get him out of a tough situation, and on top of that, it's just Chronos. He clears so easily because of the low cooldown on his 1.
Gold Fury pulled here by Air Eternity down to about 50% HP, but Ezzun-Chan know this is happening. TylrrK getting very low, and Gold Fury actually breaks that wall. Ezzuna gonna blink in, find that knockup, and the ultimate in Eribiiax puts Chan on the board. Up into the sky goes Lyzurrr, but it won't matter. Bluestone rips him down, and now Plasma's looking for another. Beads used by Sirduckbot. Plasma already used the ultimate, so he's not going to be able to continue that chase, but a clean 2 kills there for Chan gets them back into this one a little bit.
Biting off more than you can chew was definitely the motto there for Air Eternity, and because of that, Chan are going to be able to punish. I think that was a beautiful recognition by Ezzuna, preventing them from committing to that Gold Fury. Air Eternity thinking that they could slide that one away despite the Geb being there. That's just one of the circumstances where you've got to accept that it happened, they interrupted, and you just fall back.
And that's just a little bit of lack of respect, I think, overall from Air Eternity. Just they're saying, oh, we're up 5-0, you know, we're crushing these dudes. They're not going to be able to do anything. It doesn't matter if our support gets down to 15% HP by taking up this Gold Fury, with Sirduckbot having very low mana. Had his ultimate, I believe, but only had enough for basically that one skill. A little bit greedy, and now Sirduckbot's actually behind Eribiiax in terms of XP early on here, so ends up pretty well there for Chan.
And I doubt that Eribiiax is going to be complaining, considering that he had such... That was a deadly follow-up, by the way. The Cataclysm into the Chang'e ultimate. That stun time is just forever.
It's a long time. Diminishing returns helps, yes, but when you're going to be stunned for even 2 seconds like Sirduckbot was, you're going to be in some trouble. Either way, Air Eternity still in the lead for the moment, up about 1,000 gold still. Woolvie not too far behind in this lane this time around. We saw him fall behind to Atonement, this time holding his own, but here comes the invade. So USB is going to find a pretty free kill here onto Eribiiax. He'll get that one. He's on a killing spree now, and Ezzuna gets stunned out. This is going to be an easy 2 for Air Eternity, right back on the horse. They pick up 2. Believe they took away that red buff as well. And now they're in the driver's seat, this time heading towards the Gold Fury again, but decide they don't want to pull it. They already saw what happened last time.
Plasma is still able to defend, and Woolvie kind of low on his mana. So Air Eternity actually reconsidering things, actually looking for the Gold Fury now. They've got a Vulcan and a Ram.
They do have that Vulcan all ready to go. Rogue T's made the rotation as well. Woolvie uses a little bit of that low mana pool just to get his Disapparate off. Way too early on that ultimate though. Air Eternity get the Gold Fury from no help from Sirduckbot. USB gonna claim his 4th kill. 404 ADC not found. Ezzuna is gonna find Sirduckbot though, so Chan do get something in return, but the chase is still on from Air Eternity. Nice 2-man pin there by USB. Ezzuna gonna fall for the 3rd time in this game. A quick 3 deaths in 9 minutes for the Geb for Ezzun-Chan, and Air Eternity get the Gold Fury. They trade 2 for 1 in kills. They push this gold lead up to nearly 3K already.
Air Eternity are severely punishing the Geb for being Geb in the early stages, and Erlang is such a great pick. This pin into the Terra, it's just such a beautiful combination. It really nowhere left to go. The body blocks on top of that is just like kind of adding salt to the wound.
Erlang Shen is one of those gods that was so dominant for so long, and then he kind of fell out of the meta a little bit. Everyone kind of forgot just how potent he could be. He had a couple adjustments, couple nerfs. The Fatalis effect wasn't permanent whenever you used the 1. It was only whenever you used one part of the 72 transformations, that mink form. But I think now he's really starting to see a resurgence. I mean, this is a character that has such reliable CC and so much disruption. Again, Eribiiax just gets hit with a couple abilities and dropped to about half HP.
And now it's going to be Sirduckbot actually trying to get away, able to maneuver. Really excellent peel by TylrrK there. Yeah,
that's what you have whenever you got a Guardian and 2 Warriors on your side. Send 1 Warrior to disrupt the enemy mage, and you still got a frontliner to back up and peel for your mid lane. So, how did Mango Man get a level lead?
Mango Man was just farming during the rotations. He's just been farming his life away, and I mean, it's Chaac. Chaac, it really is such a great laning bully, but that's about all he does. Mango Man actually in a lot of trouble now. Is overpowered, decides he wants to commit to the tower. Same thing for Rogue, but the Get Cataclysm knock-up is going to be so clutch.
But Rogue gets the heal. Here comes Plasma. He's going to clean him up. Now USB on the run. 4v1 pinned in place, but he's got a pin of his own. Nice Waxing Moon, finds a stun, and back up, making sure that he can get a knock-up with that 72 transformations. Nice play there out of USB. Now Tyler and Sirduckbot are here to try and turn it around. Beautiful stun, but Sirduckbot might have stepped up a little bit too far. Indeed, he has. Plasma gets his 3rd in a row, 3-0-2. Somehow, after that start for Chan, look at the XP per minute charts. It's Mango Man over Rogue T. It's Plasma over the 4-0-5 overpowered USB. Like you said, Taco, sure, Mango Man's sitting there and farming, but I just don't understand. Sun Wukong was 1-0-6 before that engagement. Mango Man was 0-2-1. I just don't imagine a way that there should be an XP lead for the Chaac that was 3 levels down.
Back harpies and efficient farming, that's basically all that it boils down to, is just Mango Man has gotten back to the lane time and time again, just safely farmed away after his rough start, and it's worked out for him in the long run. And Plasma is kind of the same story. He's been able to capitalize off of the few moments he's had for kills. TylrrK has been really on point with this Terra.
He really has. His stuns have been very, very consistent. He's got a 400 gold lead over Ezzuna in this support role, and I like this early Shogun's Kasari. Not usually a first item right after boots, but when you've got 2 magical damage dealers you have to worry about between the Soul and the Chang'e, and you've got something like a Ram that could really use that extra attack speed basically at any point, plus USB is auto attack based on that Erlang Shen. Very, very smart pickup from TylrrK with that early Shogun's Kasari. Finds 2 with that root. Plasma still holding on to that overhead kick, finally uses it. This is a team for Chan that has 2 immunes that are just regular abilities. Overhead kick and Moonlit Waltz. Oh yeah, and they also can buy beads and Aegis, though it's a shell to pick up early here for the Jungle Robin. Mango Man 2v3, or 2v4 I should say, on this right-hand side. Ezzuna now left a little bit behind. He's going to find the Cataclysm only onto 1. Sirduckbot looking for the ultimate, and that's going to be a big one. Beautiful taunt from USB. Locks everyone in place. Ezzuna the only one to fall. But if that happens in the later game, we're talking a quadra kill potentially for Sirduckbot. They only get 1 for the moment. They're looking at the Portal Demon using this pressure that they've earned.
Found exactly what they were looking for, but Plasma trying to make a last-ditch effort to steal that one away. Unfortunately, he just ulted straight into the middle of Era Eternity, but the backside, Woolvie actually made the rotation. Soul Ultimate coming up massive there, but still not enough damage. It's going to be Era Eternity yet again, finding the snipes, finding the Vulcan ult. Mango Man looking for the cleanups, getting cleaned up himself.
TylrrK, the only one to fall on Era Eternity. Great snipes out of Lyzurrr. A huge Waxing Moon there from Eribiiax. Almost turned that fight in Chan's favor, but just not quite enough damage from Woolvie. He has gone for that Warlock Sash, which wasn't enough here. Trying to finish off overpowered USB, who gets that shield from the 72 transformations. Good shield out of Ezzuna, but Woolvie's completely out of mana here. Lyzurrr and USB both down to 1 HP, but Rogue T around the backside. No fear from USB. He comes up and gets the kill. No, it's Lyzurrr who got it, but with help from USB, and again, the Gold Fury pulled.
It's only Ezzuna trying to buy some time for his team to rotate over, but it's going to be Era Eternity making that secure all too easy, and Ezzuna unfortunately, Pal, you've seen this one 5 times already. Gonna fall.
Tough
Victim
stuff
to Era
there
Eternity.
for the Geb, sitting at only level 9. Look, a lot of times in that situation, you'll hear us say, you just got to give that up. It's not worth your life. But in this situation,
That's fine.
Ezzuna's already died 4 times before that. He's only level 9. He's really not worth that much gold. I think I like that call to try and steal it.
He might as well just look for it. I mean, people don't really anticipate how much damage that Shockwave can do as far as stealing away these objectives. And plus, knowing that Sirduckbot didn't necessarily have the ultimate that he wanted to try and launch out there for that secure means that he has ample opportunity to look for it.
Mango Man still pressuring Rogue T, but Sun Wukong going to get his blue with help from USB, who's going to be able to secure his own speed as well. An early Divine Ruin here for Sirduckbot, and usually when you're up against Chang'e, anti-heal's nice, but maybe not a requirement as it is against Hell. But you look at the fact that Soul's going to have self-healing, Chaac has tons of self-healing. I think I really like this early anti-heal pickup, especially if USB isn't going to be going into an early brawlers, which he has not.
If you can afford to buy it, you might as well get it. And that seems to be the theme here for Era Eternity. Sirduckbot already has enough gold in hand. Granted, he's still slightly behind Eribiiax, which goes to show just how... I should say that Duckbot really hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity to farm up as well as he might have ideally wanted with his team winning so many of the fights.
He's in the lead still and been putting out a ton of damage. I mean, almost 12K already. He's got plenty of setup from this roster, but has been in the right spot at the right time, and now he's going to be able to put out some more damage. This time, it's on a Mango Man who's in a bad spot. Geb Shield comes out from Ezzuna, but there's a taunt right into the back line, though. Go Ezzuna and Plasma. Lyzurrr and Sirduckbot on the run early. Plasma going to take a decent chunk from that Vulcan ultimate. Mango Man on the chase. Sirduckbot likely to fall here. No, Mango Man teleports to the hammer when he didn't need to. He just meant to torrent. He just wanted to get the kill with the 1. That's the only reason he did that, chat. Don't worry about it. Plasma now on the run. Overpowered USB into the back line, but gets interrupted there by the knockup. Plasma will not survive. TylrrK gets the kill. Now Eribiiax down to 1 HP, and Rogue T will clean him up.
They're just trying to swarm everybody. It's going to be Woolvie trying to get away. He's got his Geb support looking for the peel, but will it be enough? Full health Sun Wukong. I don't think he's going to last for much longer.
Woolvie does have that Warlock Sash, so extra HP, but doesn't even matter. Rogue T finds it under the tier 1 tower. 3, 1, and 13 for Era's solo laner. Mango Man's here and almost finds the kill on the USB, but it was all a bait. Lyzurr's back and he's full HP. There's the shield from the 72 transformations. Everyone's so low. Mango Man will get 1, but Lyzurr will pick him up in response. 19-8. Now Era Eternity in the lead. They'll get this tier 1 tower in middle. A little bit too low to go for the Fire Giant here, and Portal Demon's not up, but another good fight going Era's way.
Wiping out that T1 tower just gives Era Eternity a little bit more mid lane pressure and map presence. That's really the key part there. Dropping that T1 tower and losing 500 gold, not really that big of a deal when you're 18 minutes deep into a game, but knowing that they won't have that tower to fall back to when that Portal Demon respawns is pretty massive for Ezzun-Chan.
You know what else is a big deal? A 7,000 gold lead at 18 minutes, and that's what Era Eternity has. That's a bunch. Well, not 6,000, but it's close enough. Look, I don't claim to be good at math, and I never will. 6,000 XP, also a big deal at this stage. The Portal Demon has respawned. Gold Fury still down for about a minute, but expect Era to be all over that as soon as it respawns. All into Sirduckbot, as there's the Blink Ultimate. Eribiiax will clean him up. Good pick there from Ezzun-Chan, because that is a guy who has done a lot of damage so far this game. An early 4th death, I would say, but the focus has been very heavy onto the mid laner for Era Eternity.
Sirduckbot's definitely had a rough time as far as living is concerned, but when you're trying to escape from a Ravana and a Chang'e, that can be incredibly difficult to do. It's really what Era Eternity is working with in the background. Sure, Sirduckbot is dying, but they're finding the pickups on the important people afterwards, and that's really what matters, is as long as your team is still being relevant, even if the other team is focusing you.
Well, now Ezzun-Chan only down by 10 kills and could make something happen in this 4v5, but Sirduckbot's already respawned. Mango Man deep under the tower. He gets rooted by TylrrK, and Rogue T's here to put some poke into him, but there's that Chaac self-healing that's not really going to matter, especially whenever his Chang'e starts healing him up as well. Poke, not really what Era Eternity wants to go for. They want big bursts of damage off of the CC from their warriors. While this has happened in the mid lane, Lyzurrr got the Gold Fury down to 60% and then dropped it with no one really in the area. And we thought that the comms were that everyone from Ezzun-Chan was going left, but in reality, they were going back to farm. No one even close to the Gold Fury. Shen have no idea this is going on, Taco.
They had absolutely no idea. Vulcan turret just to speed up the process, and Lyzurrr more than happy to claim another Gold Fury for Era Eternity, just further extending that gold lead.
I just don't know how Chan doesn't realize that that's going on. Mango Man pretty isolated here. Already used that ultimate. There's the cursed Ankh from Era Eternity as nice torrent, this time intentional, gets Mango Man out of a coming stun from Rogue T. TylrrK gonna find two with that root. Eribiiax uses his immune. Mango Man still in that front line. Lyzurrr objective-minded, looking for the portal demon. Mango still trying to frontline as best he can, falling very low. Another shield comes out. Here comes the Vulcan ultimate over the top, but Mango Man jukes it out with the torrent. Quick reaction time there. Now Plasma into the backline as Eribiiax on the run on the front side. There comes the Somersault Cloud, and Rogue T gonna claim the life of Eribiiax. That's his 6th death of the game. Rogue gonna fall, that's his 2nd, but Mango Man in a little bit of trouble. Geb shield onto him. Here comes the snipes from Lyzurrr, but they're aimed at Woolvie, who still had quite a bit of HP remaining. Mango Man still alive, finally. TylrrK gonna put him down.
And TylrrK actually taking a ton of poke from Woolvie with those in-hands, just trying to go ham, having that soul passive stacked up, but it won't be enough. Era Eternity coming out with the upper hand from that team fight. And because of that, this portal demon was looking like it might go their way as well.
It will indeed. Plasma still here, had the overhead kick and used it. Lyzurrr 5-1 and 6. But Taco, in typical ADC fashion, he's got 5 kills. He's got a lot of last hits. Look at the player damage. He's at the bottom.
Last hits are what matter. Don't pay attention to the player damage.
ADC
He's
scum.
had some nutty last hits.
The snipes have been on point. There's no doubt about that. But I think that in that particular situation, we saw Lyzurrr on the portal demon, and Mango Man sitting in front of him with like a 3rd HP, and Lyzurrr is still just hitting the portal demon. I think that's got to be one of those scenarios where you've got almost full build. It's time to start hitting players instead of structures at this point if you're Rom.
I like how Lyzurrr is more objective, prioritized. Not a lot of hunters, especially for newer teams, will pay attention to that kind of stuff. Speaking of which, Woolvie actually getting run down by OverPoweredUSB. Absolutely nowhere to go. A little bit of overkill with the ultimate, just trying to ensure that they have that lockdown kill, but Overpowered able to find it, and now Eribiiax actually getting manhandled in the background by the Wukong and Vulcan. No immunity frames this time, absolutely taken out by that Vulcan ultimate.
Nice play there by Sirduckbot. That's another kill for Era Eternity. 23 on the board for them now as they find both towers in the dual lane. That's an extra 2,000 gold, 1,500 for the tier 2, 500 for the tier 1. We're at that dreaded 10K mark in both XP and gold. Era's looking for more. Another 1,500 on their mind as they try and push down this tier 2.
And Lyzurrr, again, just focusing on this tower. Absolutely love the shot calling from Era Eternity. They find the picks that they needed. They immediately siege objectives right after. And that's what you need to do. When you have that kind of an advantage, you just keep pressuring. You don't let up. You don't give the enemy team an opportunity to farm up and catch up.
Now only 2 towers remain for Chan as they're both in the duo lane. Fire Giant is available, but with everyone from Ezzun-Chan here, I think that's a wise choice for Eternity. And Sirduckbot again in a bad spot, has his relics, and has to use the Aegis there, but everyone's still on top of him. Mango Man trying to chase him down with the sprint popped though. Sirduckbot's gonna be able to get away. Now it's trying to turn it around. Lyzurrr is here, and now he's hitting the players. He's doing big damage with it. Sprint popped, upgraded sprint. He's got the Fatalis effect, and Lyzurrr claims another last hit. He gets a double kill as Ezzuna falls. Nice ultimate there out of Woolvie, brings Lyzurrr down to half, but he's got full stack Devos, Taco is going to be able to basically full heal off that wave.
They'll be more than happy to just farm it up off of the wave, and Mango Man has to be careful, actually. With 3 members strong, even at half health each, they could definitely turn this pretty quickly. And Lyzurrr looking for the shred, but such a big ultimate from Eribiiax.
Almost enough, but Lyzurrr still had his purification beads. USB trying to get out. Nice shell, well-timed, saves his life, and a big ultimate out of Sirduckbot. Knocks down Mango Man from the jungle. Woolvie had to use the Aegis, or get out of there, and he did. Still, I don't know if the rest of Chan is going to be able to. Perfect snipes by Lyzurrr. Aegis didn't give him the kill, but USB will clean it up for him. USB now trying to get out of this tower range. He does so successfully, and Rogue T knocks down Woolvie 28-10. Era Eternity just putting on a clinic.
They are absolutely swarming the members of Ezzune-Chan, not giving any of these guys even the slightest room for breathing air.
And it's just been a tough look for this squad. Woolvie there, I was talking about this build in his first game, and I just don't think that this build works very well. I mean, you've got the Obsidian Shard, and then you really need Rod of Tahuti right there, right after your pen. You've already got power from the Warlock Sash. Yes, Rod isn't always great in that 4th slot, but it's better than not having it, because when you build Rod, the passive still applies to everything you buy afterwards, so you're upping your entire build consistently. I mean, Taco, we're 26 minutes in, and he hasn't even started it. He's going for another penetration option here. I don't even know what that is. What is he going to build with that? Divine Ruin?
He could potentially build a Divine Ruin to try and counteract the Ram, Terra, and Erlang, plus some Wukong even has a heal, but it might not even matter. Ezzuna getting caught out by the members of Era Eternity, able to escape for the moment. Rollout is going to be good enough, and the blink just to make sure, but the sprint has been popped from Rogue. He wasn't quite ready to let that one go. Gonna have to.
Woolvie dropped the ultimate there and brought Lyzurrr down to about half HP, but he's healing by dealing damage to Mango Man. Eribiiax does find Sirduckbot in that mid lane. Good pick there, but he's going to fall because of it. Rogue T gets his revenge. Sprint popped, and Lyzurrr going to go in. Nice knock up there by Mango Man. Just short with that Stellar Burst was Woolvie. And again, if Woolvie has Rod of Tahuti there, maybe Lyzurrr goes down to 10% HP instead of 40%, and he's not able to step up and ensure those kills for Era Eternity.
The thing is, though, is that that's kind of just Chaac ultimate with the team that's behind. Chaac ult from a team that's ahead has a lot of playback potential, but in this circumstance, when Ezzune-Chan just so far behind, he's just kind of there.
Woolvie gets hit by that taunt and cursed Ankh combination from USB and Rogue T, but the 2 frontliners for Era Eternity decide they've had their fun. It's time to back up and buy, because they just got a Fire Giant and the Portal Demons. They'll be able to get right back into the engagement as soon as they purchase their items.
And Woolvie not going to have his purification beads for whenever the tower sieges start to happen. So he's going to have to be really careful with this to separate, because if he mistimes it a little bit too late, a little bit too soon, he's going to get absolutely swarmed like we've seen Era Eternity do all game long. They find the 1 mini pick, and then it's just a complete train steamroll all the way through. They don't let down.
Now all towers are gone as Era Eternity put the finishing touches on this tier 2 in the solo lane. Gonna continue pushing this right-hand side. Ezzuna gonna back. He just picked up purple buff. Could actually be impactful with a blink ultimate, putting that 10% protection debuff for us. Sirduckbot launches the ultimate into the back line, doesn't find a home. And there goes Mango Man into the front side. Ezzuna in trouble as USB and Rogue T try and handle him. Tyler in the back as well, as both Lyzurrr and Sirduckbot are peeling for each other as the damage dealers. Rogue T up over the top. He's going to finish off Ezzuna. And this 2-warrior combination has proven very difficult for Chan to handle.
Some Wukong and everything else. And these Ram snipes, absolutely beautiful. Even though he wasn't able to find it because of the Aegis immunity, those were absolutely on point. Lyzurrr has been on top of his game.
And it's set up overpowered USB to finish off Woolvie in his own fountain. The Phoenix on the right side already fell. Lyzurrr shreds through Mango Man. That's his 9th kill, 9, 1, and 9 for the Era Eternity Hunter. Mid Phoenix gone. Little surprised they aren't just going for the end here, Taco. They've only got 2 left to deal with, but decide they'd rather just play it safe and get this last remaining Phoenix.
I like this call from Era Eternity. Have as much of the fire creep swarming into the base as possible. Just really prevent Chan from looking at any sort of comeback potential. I mean, they're having a hard enough time trying to deal with Era Eternity. Can you imagine 3 lanes of fire creeps pouring into the base at the same time now?
I mean, you put in a couple fire minions and just a max range Sirduckbot ultimate, and that's going to chunk the Titan for a large portion of its HP. Sirduckbot and the rest of Era Eternity head back to base. They've looked very strong so far here in Relegations today. They beat their first team and now going to look likely to beat Ezzun-Chan here in Game 2. And as we mentioned, 2 usually the magic number for these relegation squads.
The one thing I'm looking at more particularly is easily the Erlang Shen running the 7-0-22. That is absolutely massive. That was his scoreline.
Gross.
Overpowered has been an absolute beast on this Erlang Shen between the
solid
turtle knockup and having the follow-up damage, which part he chooses for the 72 transformations. He's just been everywhere.
I mean, not only that, but I like the kind of dynamic that he and Rogue T have really gone for. Rogue T, actually, the solo laner, he's the one who bought the Brawler's Beatstick. I mean, it was USB who's building a little bit more tank-oriented. He bought the Hide of the Urchin right away, got a Frostbound Hammer towards the late game for a little bit more HP, and of course that auto attack slow. Really, really interesting stuff how Rogue T, the one who decides, I'll take the Brawlers, a little bit easier to apply from a range than Erlang Shen. Those two have been an absolute nightmare, and that's without bringing up Lyzurrr or Sirduckbot, who have both been pumping damage all game long.
And that's the great thing about Rogue and Overpowered is just their synergy together. They have just been going two's a pair, and I mean, they have been running it with this combination of the Sun Wukong and the Erlang. They can do whatever the hell they want in that backline.
It's been impressive to watch, no doubt about it. Era Eternity looking really, really strong to reclaim their spot in the EU SCL. And then you've got to look at Ezzun-Chan. I mean, they've got to hope that that Kaz, the team that beat them in the first game today, is going to lose their next one to open the door for some tiebreaker possibilities for them to try and get into the SCL here. What do they need to fix if that were to come around?
And that's the thing. I think it's really just the hesitation factor is coming in key here for Ezzun-Chan. I also want to potentially see them look for a more aggressive draft. I mean, I appreciate the Geb pickup, but
sure.
I think that they're placing too much emphasis into a god that's clearly getting absolutely punished by these seasoned SPL teams.
That's true. I mean, they've really struggled keeping Ezzuna alive on that Geb. He had, 3 deaths in the first 9 minutes. Has been punished pretty consistently, but has also had some solid Geb shields. You got to give credit where it's due. For me, Woolvie seems to be the one that's just lagging a little bit behind for this squad. It was Atonement in their first game today where Woolvie just kind of got outclassed, and then again here in this one. Lyzurrr's looked phenomenal, and these builds for the Soul just really haven't worked out.
I want to see him on a not Soul for Hunter. That's pretty much all I really want to see out of Woolvie. Other than that, I'd have to agree with you. His itemization choices on the Soul, I get it, but out of the Mage ADC options, Soul is by far probably I shouldn't say by far, because she really can be an absolute disaster to try and handle. It's just in the manner that he's been playing her, he's been falling very far behind as far as just experience and gold is concerned. Yep. And when you're falling behind as Soul, she already has a hard enough time as is facing off against these physical hunters. Low health pool, low damage early on, just all around not really what you want out of your hunter.
And plus, you've got to worry about the crit that the enemy hunter can build that you can't because you're a mage. You don't have the option of Deathbringer and Poison Star and Wind Demon, all those very potent items. Plus the lifesteal now with Devourer's Gauntlets. I think hunters have a lot of tools to try and out-trade these magical ADCs that they may not have had as much before. It's a big reason why we're seeing a lot of physical hunters start to come in and really perform well. We're in a quick pause right now between Era Eternity and Ezzun-Chan, but Era looks like they're going to probably clean this game up in the next few moments.
They were getting ready to take on the rest of those Phoenix Sieges, and I mean, it didn't seem as though Ezzun-Chan really had a whole lot of opportunity to close it out and push them back off their Phoenixes. They can temporarily hold off, but as far as delaying it even longer, it's just not really looking like the case.
No delay at all. We're right back into it right as Era Eternity's on the Titan. Lyzurrr right there, and that's going to do it. That was quick. That didn't take long at all. Era Eternity.
Hello?
Yeah, here we go. Is this thing on? Era Eternity secure their victory in dominant fashion, really, from the get-go. I mean, they started off this game 5-0. it really never let off the gas pedal after that.
Oh, no, absolutely steamrolling the competition, and that's what you want to see from your former SCL team, trying to force their way back into the relegations and looking pretty damn good while they're at it.
They sure do. Lyzurrr and company, Sirduckbot had a solid game. Probably has to clean up some positioning there on the Vulcan in the mid lane, but the damage output you can't really argue with, was absolutely putting it out. And USB on this Erlang Shen, I mean, that was just a phenomenal performance. I know we already talked about it, but he was very impressive.
Erlang Shen, really, the knockup is what sold me for Overpowered. He was hitting it so consistently that no matter what, he knew that he would have at least one other ability to have the follow-up. The pins were on point, locking down the members from Area Eternity from trying to escape, and it's that punishing factor early on. Those pins and the knockups all add up.
And not only that, but I love that this replay shows that he's the one getting the kills in the early game. He's the one doing the majority of the damage, and then he sort of starts to build tank and puts himself in that support sort of idea. By the way, that was really sick. I didn't notice that whenever it happened live, but TylrrK actually put down the monolith and body blocked Eribiiax into that red buff so that he couldn't use the Moonlit Waltz to escape. That was pretty gross.
That's just one of the things that you want to look for.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh, Terra's, every single time they get that kind of blockage with their kid, it's planned every single time. But
Nailed it.
I loved Overpowered as well, and when he opted for the Hide of the Urchin second. He was 4-0-5 when he finished building that Hide of the Urchin, and you could tell from that moment on, he was just looking entirely for the setup and just abusing that experience lead that he'd established.
Just use the base damage. Warriors always have really solid base damage, and just kind of build that defense, rely on the base, and then whenever you need it, you start building some power for that scaling. Area Eternity come up on top here over Ezzune-Chan. That gives them 2 wins on today, so they're probably in. Just a matter of who's likely to join them. We're going to throw to a quick break and find out on the other side.
I've been a real bad boy on the town all night. Starting to